Alright, and we are back for round 3 of our regionals here in Singapore. And for round 3, we're going to be showing Daniel Lee against Farid Tan. Well, so far the first 2 rounds has been quite interesting. The first round being a very close battle, and the second round has showing a relatively decisive win, although one side maybe a different choice could have been done a lot better.
Also interesting that in the first round we had 2 players who were more relatively well known in the community. Second round, 2 relatively unknown players, and now we have the final combination in round 3. We have Daniel here, who is a regular player at our tournaments and has quite a few multiple top cuts under his belt. And up against him is Farid, who I don't think I've ever seen him play at a tournament before, but the fact that they're both at 2-0 are a testament to the fact that they are solid players. So looking forward to this match for sure. As we are going to move right into team preview here, Farid on the top screen with the interesting team: Dragonite, Amoonguss, Sylveon, Scrafty, Heatran, and Banette. While Daniel's team on the bottom screen is Togekiss, Sylveon, Landorus, Kangaskhan, Suicune, and Heatran.
I would imagine Farid's using Banette, so a bit of Mega Banette. But that's not really a Mega that you see often at all. Usually you see times like Kangaskhan, Charizard, maybe even Mobile or even Lopunny, but Banette, not something you'll see.
Banette was used. The only high profile time that Banette was basically used throughout the entire season was Wolf Glix. I think one of his, can't remember which regional, but he used Mega Banette on a timer stall team with things like Assault Vest Scrafty, Heatran, Mega Venusaur as well, to basically outbulk your opponent and chip them down slowly. So it'd be interesting to see whether Farid employs a similar strategy. He does have relatively bulkier Pokemon on his team with what looks like a multi-scale Dragonite, Scrafty, and Banette. And we do see the Banette Scrafty lead come out right from the start from Farid here.
And let's see what Daniel sends out. He sends out a Kangaskhan and a Togekiss. The Togekiss probably being able to use Follow Me to prevent any attacks from either Banette or Scrafty. Although I'm not sure if it matters a bit too much other than maybe a Will-O-Wisp from Banette.
Alright, but Banette's risking the Togekiss there, revealing its Citrus Berry, one of the more common items that Togekiss is known to have. The Intimidate for Scrafty here is pretty big if Kangaskhan does not carry the Power-Up Punch. However, if it does carry that Power-Up Punch, Scrafty has to decide whether it wants to fake out the Kangaskhan on the first turn, or to let Togekiss get off a potential super effective Moonblast, 4-time super effective Moonblast on the Scrafty here.
But we see actually Kangaskhan switching out onto a Landorus, pulling off its own Intimidate onto Scrafty and Banette, reducing Scrafty's attack and also Banette's if they use stuff like Shadow Sneak. And we do see the Mega Banette, being the only Mega choice from Farid's side of the team, so it's kind of expected. And S-Slash does come out from Togekiss onto the Scrafty, dealing super effective damage, but under half.
As Shadow Claw comes right up from the Banette, gonna deal a good amount of damage to this Togekiss here, and the Stone Edge, super effective, but with a huge Intimidate from that Landorus, gonna be able to tank that attack.
Yeah, the Intimidate really helped a lot in helping Togekiss survive. Although Togekiss setting up S-Slash is a bit scarier on the Farid side of the team, as thanks to Serene Grace and S-Slash 30% chance, which is multiplied by 2 thanks to Serene Grace. A 60% free shots isn't something you want to face against.
Especially with the Landorus sitting side by side, piling on the rock slides as well. We might be in for the multiples of flinches here. But Banette Mega Evolving here is pretty big. It's gained a bucket load of attack. It's gained that Prankster ability, which allows it to use good support moves like Pain Split and Will-O-Wisp to slowly chip down at your opponent's teams. As Farid here is actually going to switch out as Scrafty here, not liking the position.
Togekiss does go for the Follow Me, rather smart move here, and...
Was that the Pain Split? Oh, Destiny Bond! Gonna take the Landorus' Earthquake here. I don't think Landorus is gonna be able to take it out though, as critical hit on the Sylveon, that's pretty huge, but seeing how much damage it's done to Sylveon, even with the critical hit, 2 non-critical hit two non-critical hit Earthquakes would have been able to take out Sylveon at that rate, so not too big there.
And it's quite nice on Daniel's side as his Togekiss is a flying type, being immune to Landorus' own Earthquake, with Landorus being ground type, thus having a bonus damage onto Earthquake. So dealing quite a lot of damage here. Sylveon goes for Protect, and Banette goes for another Destiny Bond. Let's see whether it does get KO'd by attack distance.
But Landers is not even going to care about that. Going to go straight for the Earthquake here. Possibly trying to pick up a double KO, making it a 2-for-1 trade. But in this case, the 1-for-1 trade may not be the best of options.
It's a bit interesting that Farid actually used his Mega Pokemon just on Destiny Bond in this game. Usually you want your Mega Pokemon to be that significant factor that takes out most of your opponent, or at least is a pivot to work around. But in this case, Farid opts to use it to take out Landorus, and specifically Landorus. Maybe Landorus is a big threat to, in his opinion.
Perhaps, but we see that Daniel makes use of that free turn for his Togekiss there to set up the Tailwind. Great play as Heatran comes in, one of the best counters to the Sylveon here. And under the Tailwind, going to be able to fire very, very effective Heat Waves.
We do see Scrafty coming in, Scrafty being able to land super effective hits on Heatran, but is quite in danger against the Togekiss. While Sylveon won't really do much in these situations, as Heatran will be able to take the Hypervisive Ease, and Togekiss being quite especially tanky will also not be taking too much damage from it.
Even then, you have to imagine that the safest play for Daniel here is just to go for the Air Slash and the Heat Wave, trying to pick up a double KO onto the Scrafty. I mean, Scrafty here again has to choose between either faking out the Heatran or faking out the Togekiss. But in this case, we see that he doesn't go for the fake out for the second time. Maybe his Scrafty doesn't have fake out.
Interesting. Oh, Scrafty goes for the Stone Age onto Togekiss, probably predicting that follow B, so going for a super effective move straight away here.
But that's a really good, Togekiss showing off its bulk here, being able to take repeated Stone Ages from the Scrafty. A big turn by Daniel there though, being able to, break the multi-scale on that Dragonite. Dragonite goes for the extreme speed to pick off a weakened Togekiss is going to be enough to drop the flying type Pokemon. Scrafty probably going to go for a Drain Punch, but Heatran smartly protects there.
I actually do find it quite interesting that Scrafty has Stone Age. As you mentioned, Scrafty has not faked out, so it's probably running Stone Age in place of fake out that most people run, because Drain Punch and Crush, you would imagine those are popular moves of Scrafty, making its same type attack bonus.
So now you see that Daniel actually gets into an even better position here, losing his Togekiss, but getting off in two offensive powerhouses in Kangaskhan and Heatran. And Farid makes the expected play. I mean, you have to pretty much expect Scrafty to switch out there, not in the best of positions. So let's see if Daniel actually capitalizes on this play by Farid. Good play by Farid, although predictable to recycle his Intimidate there. But at this point, but Dragonite does go for that Protect, so trying to prevent any potential double target into the Dragonite slot.
Oh, and then Daniel does capitalize on it by using a substitute, predicting the switch out of Scrafty onto Sylveon. Pretty much Farid's best chance here is switching out onto Sylveon anyway to conserve that Intimidate. So Daniel actually kind of predicted that very well with now Heatran behind a substitute, so he'll be able to take at least one hit from Scrafty before going down.
That definitely one of the ways you can punish defensive playing is to get up a substitute, and that is exactly what Daniel has done here. Interestingly enough, the avoid there not too important, as Kangaskhan did show that Ice Punch in the previous turn. So interesting to see whether Daniel actually goes for the Ice Punch again, predicting maybe Farid to switch out. Dragon Claw comes out onto the Kangaskhan. Dragonite outspeeding Kangaskhan there. But the Ice Punch does land onto the Dragonite. Multi-scale broken. Is it going to be enough to drop the Dragon? It is 4 times super effective. Didn't even need the baby there.
The lack of multi-skill there really is quite detrimental for Dragonite. It might have survived. It probably would have survived. However, taking the second hit from the baby due to Parental Bond, it will be quite painful anyway.
Heatran is slowly recovering its HP with that leftovers held item. As Scrafty is going to come back in for Farid. Farid down to his last 2 Pokemon. Last one Pokemon,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's pretty much Daniel's game from now on. Scrafty, other than maybe faking out one target, can't really do much at all. Heatran can just launch off a Heat Wave, Kangaskhan just launch off whatever fighting task, or even just a return or double H.
Heatran going for the 100% accurate Earth Power, not wanting to risk any Heat Wave misses, despite the increased power of the single target move. Not able to pick up the KO on the Scrafty, even with the critical hit, but Double Edge from Kangaskhan is going to pick off the KO, and Daniel takes this game and moves on to 3-0.
And we see a handshake there from Daniel for a good sportsmanship there.
Yeah, great sportsmanship by Daniel, extending his handshake to Farid there. Pretty well played game by both sides. Although I think Daniel definitely managed his options a lot better. Busting out, predicting passive plays from forward and punishing them timely with tailwinds and substitutes at the perfect turn. So
Farid had quite a full matchup from the start against the Total Kids with Scrafty and all, and he pretty much had to switch in and out. Switching into his Dragon Knight, maybe his best choice at the time, but it's still very detrimental considering he's lost his multi skill right there and there. So Daniel, as you said, being able to pick up all those switches, being to land more offense and set up substitute to protect his own Pokemon, make advantage of that switch.
you would have to think though that Farid definitely thought that Dragonite was a good call against Daniel's team, considering the lack of a Dragon Fairy or Ice type move on Daniel's side of the field. But we saw Daniel does pack that surprise Ice Punch on his Kangaskhan specifically probably to take out those 4 times weak Pokemon like Landorus, like Dragonite, like Salamence.
Landorus and Salamence are both Pokemon that Mega Kangaskhan tend to have trouble with, especially with the Intimidate. But both are, as you said, 4 times weak to Ice, so it is one of those options. It's not often you see on the Kangaskhan, but it is a very viable one.
Precisely, and we're just going to hear from Daniel himself about his very interesting Kangaskhan team right now. Alright, and joining us on screen now is Daniel Lee, who just took a very rather, close but convincing game against Farid there to take his record to 3-0, inching ever so closer to another top cut performance locally. Daniel, how do you feel about, starting off with a 3-0 record?
It feels great. I hope to be able to hit the top cut convincingly, and yeah, it feels great, and hopefully I can play well next few matches.
Your team is, on the whole, pretty standard, but you do have some rather more interesting choices. Like a lot of players prefer Amoonguss over Togekiss, as well as maybe Fake Out or Protect over Ice Punch on the Kangaskhan. So, can you talk a bit about what made you change your team in that deviate from the standard in that way?
For Togekiss, actually, I wanted to have 2 proper supports in Suicune and Togekiss, and I'll try to bring at least one of them into each game, and based on the situation of the opponent's team. So, for Kangaskhan, I felt that my only counter against those things that are weak to ice, a lot of things are weak to ice, was Suicune with the Ice Beam, and in the event that I don't bring Togekiss, I don't bring Suicune and I bring Togekiss, I don't have something solid ice move to take out those ice type weakness.
And we see your decision to run Ice Punch definitely paid off there, being able to 1-hit KO that Dragonite even without the Parental Bond second hit. So, you mentioned that you wanted 2 support Pokemon. In that case, how did you build the rest of your team to evolve? Do you build your team starting from the offense and then turning to the support, or did you start from the support and then go to the offense?
I started from the offense actually. I like Kangaskhan and Sylveon a lot. I didn't bring Sylveon for the match, but I do have Sylveon and Landorus as well. I like a lot of my offensive Pokemon. So from there, I decided to put the 2 support Pokemon in.
I see. So obviously a really well balanced team, really well built team, and with 4 offensive Pokemon and the Kangaskhan, Landorus, Sylveon, and the Heatran as well. We're supported by the very bulky Suicune and Togekiss. We saw that your Togekiss was very, very bulky, being able to take two Stone Edges from the Scrafty. Yeah. So obviously that helped you a lot in the game as well. Did you ever feel that you gave up anything in particular that Amoonguss could have provided that Togekiss can't do?
The problem with Amoonguss, I feel, is that Amoonguss is too slow. Even though it can counter Trick Room teams, if I counter someone with Trick Room, because my team isn't very good against Trick Room, but I feel that Togekiss offers more versatility in that the Air Slash can be quite threatening to a lot of teams, as well as the Tailwind support.
But Air Slash not getting you any flinches in the previous game, possibly saving it up for later on in the tournament where it might be more important.
Yeah.
Right? So, thank you, Daniel, for joining us on stream. Good luck. Hopefully, we'll see you back again in Top Cut.
Okay, thank you.